to some personalities, including IEA, and I'm sure most people were at a loss as to what occasioned that warning. Tonight, I have the privilege of sharing with you what has been published in Enquirer. It was because I was privy to some confidential information that IEA was trying to usurp the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. And one would have imagined that in the face of all these warnings and Samuel Uku being used as a scapegoat, people would learn and know better. The IEA, in the sharp contradiction and clear defiance of the court's order, issued a letter which has been published on the Enquirer. I'm sure that the cameras can take this quickly so I can read some excerpts. The story really is on page 4. The IEA wrote a letter inviting some political personalities to attend a conference scheduled 5th July. That's next week thereabouts, 5th July at Kofredwa. And as part of the invitation letter, really, I was so amazed. An invitation letter which contains stuff like, I'm quoting, Ghana conducted relatively peaceful, free and fair elections in 2012. However, there were several irregularities that marred the beauty of the nation's effort to consolidate her gains through elections. That is not even worse. Just listen to this one. They said, besides, there were several reported cases of electoral irregularities, including the disregard for the rule that one cannot vote without being verified, overvoting, discrepancies between figures and letters of recorded notes or votes, etc. What IEA is saying is that they want to organize a conference next week in Kofredwa, and that people should come and talk about our democratic gains. And as part of their invitation letter, they have concluded that there were irregularities and that people disregarded the rule governing the election, which is people were allowed to vote without biometric verification or verification, whatever form it was, and that people have complained. But I beg to differ. These were the same reasons for which the matter is before the court, and the IEA seems to be passing judgment on this. My greatest beef really is that if you are inviting people to come and talk on democratic governance, must you necessarily comment on issues like people have complained? And there has not been any complaint from anybody. Simply there's a petition before the Supreme Court. Nobody has complained. Indeed, as part of the case, there has never been any polling agent who has filed any complaint. So this remark that there has been many complaints of irregularities, I do not see where they are coming from, unless, of course, the IEA once again wants to deepen the perception that perhaps they have an ulterior motive besides the one that is plain to the ordinary Ghanaian. And so I would want to advise IEA and indeed call upon the Supreme Court to perhaps add them to the order given this afternoon, making sure that the IEA is also reminded that they are now above the laws of Ghana. The fact that you engage in some whatever it is that they do in terms of organizing presidential debates, that does not allow them to usurp the court's powers. And at this juncture, anybody who is acting in consent with IEA and doing some of these things surreptitiously, the Supreme Court is watching. They are listening. Very soon, the orders will be issued. As for me, if I were Samuel Uku, instead of thanking the MPP supporters for, I don't know, whatever the MPP supporters did, but I think that he should rather be grateful to the justices of the Supreme Court, the lawyers from both parties, and for once we saw some unanimity between factions and their councils begging for leniency. And indeed, the Supreme Court did not only temper justice with mercy, but also tempered compassion with some pragmatism. And he should be grateful to them, instead of going on and on that he did not do anything wrong. After he has apologized, he still insists that he has done nothing wrong and that he had clear conscience. Next time, if you are drawn before the Supreme Court, tell them that you had clear conscience. I mean, everybody saw you, you were shaking. This is not the time to be boastful. Be humble, learn from your mistakes. We are all watching, we are all learning, and people out there commenting on the substance of the case. You must be very careful. But IEA, the Supreme Court, must, as it were, subpoena them, if you like, ask them to come and explain why they have concluded ahead of the case in court that there were irregularities and that the beauty of the election was marred by people who have disregarded the rule containing verification and all that. I think this statement is very, very prejudicial, and that they must be warned, or even more than that. Well, tonight we won't be talking about that. I mean, not really. Tonight we are turning our attention to, the activities of our political parties, branches, and the tertiary organization or tertiary institutions. And tonight our attention will be on the University of Professional Studies, formerly of IPS. I hope that I got the name right, because they don't take it lightly if you call them IPS. They are now University of Professional Studies. And tonight I have the TEIN, the newly elected TEIN executives. I have the president, Eliasu, on my screen left. He's been here before during the campaign in 2012 election. Also being joined for the first time in our studios, we have the Women's Commissioner of TEIN. Her name is Noreen Belejo. And tonight they will tell us all about TEIN and the reason why we should continue to have such, representation of political parties on our institutions, and whether or not the argument that is an old fashioned method of, trying to conscientize our students and our young ones on campuses should be a thing of the past. They are here, they will do all the explanations. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, Elias, you've been here before.
Yes.
You are now when you were here, you were the vice president.
Oh, the general secretary.
Oh, the general secretary.
Yes.
Good. And now you've emerged to be the president-elect.
Yes.
How does the experience feel like?
Thank you very much. Good evening to you, and good evening to your cherished listeners. Us
and viewers as well.
And viewers as well. As our president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, was saying during his campaign that he has been tried and tested. I think I was tried and tested before. That's why my people entrusted that to me, that I should become the president. That's why they voted for me.
Okay, so clearly wasn't a difficult thing for you. It wasn't a difficult victory, you would say.
Every election is always a difficult thing. I wouldn't rate my election.
Okay.
It was really difficult, but for the work I have done for my students, they saw that I should continue with them. And that's why they gave me
no embezzlement of anything.
Oh, no, I don't think.
Clean records.
No, yeah.
No Isopoton issue.
No Isopoton issues. Yeah.
Okay, and we have the women's organizer too. A women's commissioner, sorry. I tend to confuse the two. How was it like?
It's been wonderful, because we've been trying to get the women wing to come forward. We're trying to encourage the women to work harder, and the election was successful and was very good. It wasn't easy though, but it was successful.
You had serious competitors, eh?
Yeah, I had really serious competitors, fearful ones.
Fearful ones. Also got nothing to win.
Gargantuan ones, but we made it sure.
I can see that. Good. Let's come back to the substantive issue of the argument. I'm sure you've heard this thing several times, that this thing of having the TEIN, I'm sure we have TESCON for the MPP, TESCHAD, I think for the CPP or PNC. They all have their branches on our various university campuses. But some people think that this thing is overly politicizing an otherwise neutral academic environment. I mean, we are there to learn. Let's just do the learning. If you go outside, if you graduate, then you can do your politics in your private moment. But for political parties to have their branches, in this, what do you call it, this university campuses, it's sad. But of course, you might want to start by telling us what TEIN really stands for. The TEIN, the word TEIN.
Yeah, the word TEIN really stands for Tertiary Education Institutional Network of the National Democratic Congress. In fact, I don't side with people who think that the TEIN and the other political organizations or associations in our tertiary institution should be stopped. Because if you look at it, we as TEIN are seen as intellectual wing of our party. Mm-hmm. That's the youth wing, intellectual youth wing of our NDC. And as such, they know the tertiary institution is full of intellectuals who understands issues and would like to bring it down to the layman's understanding. So for me, if anyone is thinking that maybe it should be abolished, then it's quite unfortunate, because you can see that is where you are able to appreciate certain things, to understand. That's where you get your own grooming from. Because considering even when you look at our SRC elections, you see, even these associations train people and bring them out. They make sure that they train them very well, then present them, even though people think that it's a political fight or NPP, NDC. But then it helps us a lot. You understand? Because even in your meetings, you have people who come around, you see the potentials in there. Some of them, if not that you give them the courage, they wouldn't come out. But once they have the opportunity to join this association, you give them the courage, you train them, you get other people on board who will be ready and willing to help in grooming them, then they will go for those portfolios on campus. So I think that TEIN, as the intellectual wing of the party, does a lot of good within and outside campus.
Okay. So you think that it serves as a breeding ground for future leaders in the party?
Yeah, of course, it serves as a breeding ground for the future leaders. Unlike you have a tribal association on campus, you know, it sounds...
I am not a fan of those, for instance, you have Northern Students Association, Asante Student Equipping. I think that is just promoting needless ethnocentrism on our campuses. Of
course. As you can see, it's like a particular type of tribe will come together and form an association, and they will be thinking something else. But with TEIN, we have a lot of
all tribal
groups are coming to join it, and at least it's not that we are doing certain things that might maybe undermine anybody's tribe. Now it's like a family thing that all tribes have come together to share ideas and to understand and appreciate.
You don't care if you are Ewe or Dagoba or Asante. It's about the NDC.
Yeah, it's about the interest of NDC.
But before I go to the Women's Commissioner, do you not fear the likelihood of being victimized by perhaps maybe you may have the head of your department who may not be sharing the same political philosophy or ideology, and for the fact that, hey, Ilyasu is the president, this guy, I'll show him where power lies. I mean, there's no fear. Like, how do you manage that?
Of course, there's fear like that, because you know most of your lecturers, some of your lecturers are not in the same line with you. But then, as in a human society, you don't expect that everybody should go your way. You understand? But then those challenges, we encounter them, but we are able to manage it. Then even though like there has not been any instance that a lecturer tells you that, because you belong to this political party, I'll do this to you. No, I don't think certain happen. But maybe sometimes someone may look at you and you might judge the person wrong. But I don't think I've ever had an instance of that sort. But I think some people do complain. But I don't think it goes that deep. Okay. It's only...
But my lady, the women's wing of the party, I know the NDC, the national structure has the women's commissioner. Is it women's organization? Women's organizer. That one is women's organizer. And then we, at the TESCON level, the TEIN level, we have the women's commissioner. I mean, the change in identity, I don't... Is there anything significant with that?
Not really. It's basically the same thing. It's just one identity with two different names.
Perhaps we should maintain, if it is women's organizer, women's commissioner. Okay.
Yeah, some people say it's women's organizer. Some people say it's women's commissioner who come. But it's basically the same thing.
Okay. And you get to... Do you have representation and, for instance... election of maybe presidential candidate in the party level, do we have 10 representatives?
Yeah, we have 10. The presidential...
Yeah, for instance, when NDC goes to Congress,
Yeah.
Do we have, because I know of those in the diaspora, they have a quota. They take part in electing maybe the presidential candidate for the party.
Yeah.
I don't know about the TEIN. Is it the same? Or do you have such representation? Or is yet to be born?
I only know of our representation in electing our national executives, our constituency executives. But I think, yeah, it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's come to the activities of the woman commissioner. What really do you do? I mean,
basically, in charge of the women, to organize them, encourage them to come forward. You know, in Ghana, people have started asking the president questions about having 2 ministers under one ministry who are women. That shouldn't be a case, because we have men under one ministry and nobody questions it. And we have more than one ministry that has men.
okay.
But nobody questions it. It's just one ministry with 2 women. Everybody is questioning. I'm trying to bring our women in such a way that a time will come when women wouldn't be given so much attention, because it's now like it's not a normal thing for a woman to take up positions. We are trying to encourage them to come out and organize them to take up positions and be like the Hannah Tetes and the Victoria Hammer.
That's possibly become president. but let's once again delve deeper, because I know the activities of the woman commissioner could be very challenging. It is difficult to get women, really, I mean, let's be factual here, to get women to engage in active politicking. I don't know how you manage to, do this multitask vis-a-vis your studies. It's difficult, really, getting women to, even for fan clubs on campuses and all that, debate clubs, well, you may see them, but when it comes to politics, they lean back.
Yes, well, they say what a man can do, a woman can do, and she can do better. So if the men are doing it, we can also do it.
Even
so
though we have serious
we
objections
have,
to
that is what we are trying to
the men
change.
will have objections
So
to that.
that's what we are trying to change. So the women can also come forward and do it better. A man is on campus. A man is a vice president. He is a West president. He's a lot, Muslim Students Association president, but he's still a student and he's making it, so why can't we also do it?
Okay, I see that really the women are putting up to the challenge. But the argument also is that, I mean, if you look at the political terrain, hardly would you be able to pinpoint that many of the ministers came through the TEIN breed. It is always the former NUPS president, the former JCR president, the former SRC president. People are really trying to say, oh, this breed came from the TEIN training grounds. I don't know if there are any people, any person who has been able to.
Okay, like in football, we have the Black Stars.
Of course.
We have like the Black Satellites.
Who just won by four goals
exactly. So in politics too, there should be a breeding ground.
Okay.
And we have the likes of Margaret Owusu, who is now the Ashanti Regional Coordinator for NDC. And we have Felix Kwachi. They all came from TEIN.
Oh, the Deputy Minister for Information.
Yes, they all came from TEIN. So there should be a breeding ground. And even the constitution of the party has recognized TEIN. So that gives us the potency. That gives it the authority. That means the party has recognized TEIN. So TEIN is very essential in the politics of today.
Okay. And Mr. President-elect, I wish I can swear you in on this platform. Really, I don't know if you've heard that. They think that instead of this thing, let's just mobilize funds. Maybe have an institution. If you graduate, there's some school of politicking, if you like, to come and pursue the ideology of the NDC rather than having this thing all around, because some think it is ineffective.
And I don't think if they have to create an institution called politics institution, I don't think they'll even get one person. Politics is such that it's not something that you go and learn. It's an institution where it's mandated to for someone to go and learn politics. As you are in your institution, you are going to pursue a course in the institution, even immediately you get into the institution, you have so many associations. And every association, there's politics. Politics is about you being there, then maybe after there's a time for you to do the election, or how you are going to relate with your people, convince them to follow one direction. Okay. So if maybe people are arguing that they should get an institution called political institution where they will be breeding students from there, I don't think that is okay. As my women commissioner said, Mrs. Margaret Owusu was our former TEIN president of University of Professional Studies. Then Felix Ofosu-Kwachi, Fred Agbenyo, yeah, the member of the communication team. And looking at Mrs. Margaret Owusu, she was someone who was too powerful, and even our level 400s who are living can attest to that fact. So, and looking at today, she is the LESDEP coordinator of Ashanti region and the Southern coordinator of TEIN. Okay. So you see, then you see that the TEIN is able to groom people to fit well in the political landscape. So if anyone sits and say maybe there's time for us to abolish the TEIN or the political groupings on campus, I don't think I share that sentiment, but rather is the other side, because you see that several situations that you have people coming to contact you, like this our recent SRC election, they could, some of them fall onto us.
You are power brokers.
Yes, we are power brokers. They fall onto us. We advise them. We groom them very well. We make sure that they fit very well in their position. And after that, we don't leave them. After they get the position, we call them and we advise them. So if you have an institution where you have a grouping like that who seeks to the welfare of the student and the institution, you see,
but some could say that you are tarnishing the SRC presidency. I mean, they will
no,
say,
that's not the issue. It's a fact.
NDC SRC president.
No, it's not about NDC SRC president. It's an association, and everybody is free to join.
Come and campaign.
Depending on the ideologies.
The vote of TEIN.
You understand? Because since it's an intellectual institution, you need to come closer to see what they have. We are affiliated to the National Democratic Congress. Yeah. We believe in their ideologies. So if a student comes to the campus and think that the NDC ideology is good for me and I come to join, then maybe in the near future, if you need any assistance, because if you need any help or any assistance from any association, you must be a member. You can't just come that day and you think that you need their support. And definitely we'll have to come out clearly and support you. And we'll make sure that you get a mantle. It's not that after you win it, we don't have NDC MPP. Again. We don't have NDC MPP. You have students as a whole. Okay. You are students SRC president, not TEIN or TESCOM SRC president. So I think that should be what people should know. It's not that when we put you there, we are coming to impose our things on you. No, we are only putting you there to also go like you handle your own things. But then don't forget to champion the cause of the student interest. So when you go there, then you know that definitely you can fall on us at any time for any advice. Okay. It's not that you will not tell the other student, but this is our member, so therefore we are pushing the interests of NDC. And even the SRC, I don't think there's anything that SRC can do to push the interests of NDC. It's only we, the TEIN executives, who are tasked to do the activities for the National Democratic Congress on campus. Okay. Unlike recently, the government issued a statement concerning he giving about 7 million Ghana cedi to the tertiary institution. Say it's a very good call. You understand? Yeah. As the academic year comes, we are going into a new academic year, and this is what the government has done. And sometimes some of our colleagues don't know this. Once they come to our meetings, we inform them those things. You understand? Then you see the president trying to get infrastructure for our institutions. Look at these laptops that the president gave out to students. And I'm telling you today, our level 400s are finishing their project work. And you can see that people are really appreciating it. Everywhere you see the Better Ghana laptops. You understand? It's not something, it's for Ghanaian students. Okay. And I have to clear this here. People think that if they make the announcement for you to apply, it's TEIN who will be able to. No. As a Ghanaian student, you just need to apply.
Whether you are
NPP or you are
GCPP or
you understand
PPP or whatever.
So you need to apply, but they should not think that it's meant for NDC people.
Okay, so you've heard it right there. Don't come and harass Eliasu. He doesn't facilitate nor coordinates the acquisition of Better Ghana laptop applied through the proper institutions. And of course, you shall lay your hands on one. I'll be right here. Don't go away. Hello, and thanks for staying with us. Just in case you just tune on your TV, this is Majority Caucus. We are live on multi-TV. Even as we discuss the issues of our political parties establishing their branches in our various campuses, the Isopoton guys are also still on the run. Not on the run, sorry. They are still on the chase after MPP functionaries. Earlier today, Matthew Adai has dared Michael Kwe that he should come and deny the charges, whether or not he has not benefited from Isopoton Ghana. He cited instances of Isopoton paying for his trip to Spain in terms of hotel accommodation, plane tickets, other things too. Of course, I'm sure you know what I mean. They paid for all, and that he benefited immensely. And that the argument that there was a letter from the Spanish government truncating the contract or advising the then Kufuor's government to truncate the contract between Isopoton and Ghana has never existed really, and that was just a sheer propaganda and act of mischief. And also Asafo Eje, Anani Eje Asafu, I don't know if the name I got it right, but he's still on the cursing spree. He dares anybody in the MPP to come with any evidence. Otherwise, he's invoking the powers of the deity, God of River, Antwa Nyama, and that he should strike them dead. And so, if I were the MPP, once again, I would approach this man, try to solve these issues amicably. He thinks that people's image are being tarnished unnecessarily for political reasons, and that clearly cannot be countenanced any longer. We are back in the studio. TEIN. Today we are on TEIN. Women's Commissioner. It is only normal that you have organizations that have difficulties. Even the biggest corporate bodies in Ghana, in the world, if you like, do have challenges once in a while. Certainly TEIN should be facing similar difficulties. I want to know what are some of the challenges TEIN as an association faces, in running its affairs on campus. With specific references to UPS TEIN. Basically,
as Women's Commissioner, my basic problem is the women. They are shy. They tend to stay in their shells too long. Whenever we try to get to the big wigs to come and talk to them, it's quite difficult. I know they are busy with their schedules and everything, but I believe they should be able to make time for us because we are the future of the party. So they should make time for us and come to us, talk to us, encourage especially the women to bring us out of our shells. And another thing is money. The funding.
It's a problem to everybody.
The funding is always a problem. Resourcing or financing our programs and our campaigns, everything. It's tedious getting funding from them, and it never comes on time. Funny enough,
members don't they pay dues? Like
we decide we are students, so we basically pay very little, very little for a whole semester. So dues won't be enough. So we need bigger money.
And when you increase the dues, I'm sure people will start running away from TEIN.
Exactly. Because it's like when you're a royal, you should feel royal. Right now, we are royal. We should feel royal.
I see. But has the party done anything
to help the activities of TEIN? I mean, the national party. I mean, the party at the national level. Has it done anything to assist?
Sure. If we sit here and say the party hasn't done anything, then that would be a big lie.
Okay.
The fundings have come, but they are not enough. The fundings come.
Okay.
But our cry to them is that it's not enough. It comes, and we appreciate the fundings. Sometimes they do appear at our programs, but we want them to appear more, especially the women.
They don't come in. Don't worry. We'll try and get all of them there. Elias, TEIN, as an institution, certainly you must have a position on the government educational policy. What is your assessment of this current government of the NDC? I mean, what is your assessment or your views about its educational policy? Is it something that you think is education friendly in your view?
Of course. Looking at the government's educational policy, you can see that it has touched on all the sectors of education, all the levels, making reference to our manifesto for 2012. We told the people of Ghana that we were going to build about 200 senior high schools, which His Excellency the President has inaugurated the committee who will be in charge of it, and they are doing the work. Then we were to build about 10 additional training colleges. You can see that most of our schools, like the lower level, that's the primary and the junior high school, even the senior high school, they are lacking more teachers. So if the government is able to get these 10, if the government is able to get these 10 training colleges for all the 10 regions, then you see that maybe our education this thing will improve. Then looking at upgrading polytechnics to maybe a degree awarding institution, a technical degree awarding institution. When you look at this, it's a laudable idea because in Ghana we lack the technical know-how, but we have the institution who are in charge of the technical aspects of our education. And sometimes you see maybe because someone will think that I'll go and do mechanical engineering in the polytechnic, I'll prefer going for a different course. Yeah. Because you can see someone who studied a course which will be related to engineering would have to go and divert to go and read business administration and other courses, because they feel that if you are someone, if you go to the polytechnic, maybe you will not get, or maybe after completing, you need to upgrade yourself again. So they prefer moving to. So now that the government is trying to work things out so that the polytechnics will be upgraded, you see that it will now absorb the people. When they come out, they will be able to fit well in the society.
So you think that even upon the promise of building more technical teacher training colleges and all that, the courses should be modeled in such a way that it will reflect the national interest in terms of being employable after graduating?
Of course. The model should be like that, in the sense that you look at in our banking institution, for instance, if someone goes to learn, do a course in maybe in my school, say maybe you do something like dondology, even though we don't do it there. You see a dondology student in a banking hall. You see it's far, it's just conflict of interest there. Yes. You understand? So it's always good that even sometimes our institutions who are making these things to happen, because someone will bring a certificate, and the certificate is something different from the sector you are going to put the person. And all what you hear, they will tell you that is the training that matters. Yes. So meaning what you have studied there is irrelevant. You go and spend 4 years in the university and you come out and you divert the whole thing. It's not about your course. You understand? It's not about your course. It's about the training there. So if that should be the case, I don't think it will help well. If a business administration student completes the 4-year degree course, if he comes out he should be employed in an institution where he will fit well in that.
So he's not going to be putting square pegs in round
You see,
hole.
and you see that even causes a lot of this thing. It's also a contributing factor to our unemployment rate. You understand? You employ as the former flag bearer of PNC said, Ayaraga said that we should get employable graduates.
Indeed. That is a good call. Let me go to the phone lines. You could reach us on 0302 211-70124, 0302-211-70124. Keep the calls coming. We're still here having a discussion on our political parties, institutions, and their branches on our various tertiary institutions. Madam, women in politics. This time we're... Okay, I have Ilyasu, but this one is from Tamale. Are you from Tamale?
Yeah, from Tamale.
Okay, we have another one from Tamale. Ilyasu.
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me on your show. Zorkaula.
You say Alafia. Alafia.
No.
He doesn't speak the language, yeah?
He's my friend.
I was actually referring to my namesake.
Oh, of course, I know.
Actually, I must confess. I said the Gomba man, Muslim. I have, I must say, perhaps you might be considering giving your lady to me so I'll marry her as a second wife.
We won't allow you to be making such demands on this platform. Yes, those will be done privately.
On a more serious note, I could appreciate Elias's difficulty in addressing the last question you asked about the policies the government has for the educational sector, towards ensuring that the education or Ghana's education gets to its highest heights. If you remember when Nanado Isha Alaba, when God permits after the Supreme Court declaration, when Nanado
you've been contempt of court too.
Power. Oh, Isha Allah, can't you say can't you hear me commit it in the hands of Allah? Isha Allah is going to be possible after the Supreme Court verdict, at which time Nanado will be sworn in as a president. Remember when he visited Tamale on a mammoth rally held at Victory, he said that it is his dream to make the Polytechnics school of, such that, when you complete the Polytechnic, you get good and better job
Elias,
for yourself.
You should be running up.
For that matter, Nanado also promised free education, which will bring about.
You are still on this campaign spree of free education.
Nanado said that he wants to bring about free education to help bridging the gap between the north and the south. This is what we call proactive leadership.
Elias, we are most grateful for your views. Thank you very much. We have another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
My name is Farid. I'm calling from Tamale.
Welcome to Caucus.
Thank you. I must be very honest and sincere with you. I have monitored this program ever since I bought my DigiBox, but I've never developed interest in calling into the program. Today, you are touching on a very sensitive area, which I think I should call into the program. I've been a state secretary of Tamale Polytechnic in 2008. Subsequently, I was elected as the president of that institution. And ever since, TEIN seems to be grappling with very petty issues that nobody seems to be addressing the issue. The TEIN in our various institutions should be re-looked at. It falls under the youth wing of the political party. Why don't, if we are not even channeling resources into these areas, which I don't think we should advocate, but at least the youth leaders, the youth organizers of our various regions should make it a point to be visiting and encouraging TEIN members. I must be honest with you, I feel very sad that what is happening, and I'm speaking from experience as far as Tamale Polytechnic is concerned. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had to take the students around for a particular issue. No single member in the whole of Northern region, as far as NDC is concerned, could support us.
Did you call on them?
There was no single member we did not visit.
Okay.
There is no single member. I speak to you. The Deputy Northern Regional Minister is a member of the Governance Council. I had to even take the president of Tamale Polytechnic to his office for a problem, which I know it was solved. Why is it that if anytime there is a problem, we don't care? I'm speaking from experience, as far as Northern region is concerned, I don't want to talk about other regions. And a former TEIN secretary of Tamale Politics, I think that, look, that's why I said that I have never called into your program, but this matter is a very serious. We must train students from our tertiary institutions who will be the vanguard of NDC in the near future. If we don't train them and we just want to handpick people from elsewhere to come and be at the helm of leadership as far as NDC,
be the best of practices.
We will have leadership crisis.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure you will take this seriously.
Obviously, believe me that they do watch. They don't miss this program for anything, and I'm sure that they will draw lessons from this. Very soon, I'm sure you should be getting some calls towards addressing your problem. I have another caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Masoud. I'm Ezeki calling from Techima.
You're on air.
Okay. Ali.
Yes, sir.
In my view, I think that the credibility of the entire NDC must be put into question.
Okay.
Why did I say that?
Is this in regarding the TEIN discussion?
I thought I'm coming to the I thought this thing
hold on, just
Ali,
hold on, my friend. Hold on. Tonight, the discussion on the table is about TEIN. If you have any criticisms, if you have any opinions, contributions, whatever it is that you want to share, those things were not part of what we are discussing. Those were part of our preliminary comments. Their contribution should be targeted towards TEIN, the discussion we have here, and not any other matter that is shown to be just an introductory remark. Good. Elias, before I come to you with a question, you heard the gentleman from Tamale, the former secretary of TEIN, Tamale Polytechnic. He has outlined serious concerns that not even a single person from, even the NDC branch in Tamale, or if you like it, in the whole of Northern region, not even a single soul was there.
Okay, Ali.
Maybe you are in Accra, so you have access to this thing easy.
Sometimes it depends on how you are putting the issue before the people who are in charge. But first thing, let's establish whether he really followed the actual channel of communication.
Okay.
As in, every TEIN has a coordinator in every region.
Okay.
So at least until you are able to establish who the TEIN coordinator of Northern region is, and find out whether they have put on that problem. Because sometimes what we normally do as students, because we take up the positions, we think that we are now open to the people in the offices that we can quickly go to them. You understand? When you get your coordinator informed, your coordinator will also inform the youth, either the constituency youth organizer or the regional youth organizer. And in some cases, it's like, I'm not quite sure, but it's like the Northern Regional Youth Organizer is the TEIN coordinator. Okay. That is Alhaji Mohammed Amin, popularly known as Abiu. Okay. You understand? So I don't know whether he should be the first point of call when you have an issue.
He clearly sounded like a very experienced TEIN executive, so I'm sure he is aware.
Even though there are challenges, you understand, but it's true that there are challenges. But the fact of the matter is, when you have an issue like that, you first of all follow the right channel of communication. You see, I don't know whether he really met the coordinator and the coordinator could not say anything. Because sometimes you tell your coordinator had to communicate to a different person before you get to that person. You understand? Because if you are saying you have gone to the deputy minister, I don't know who he said, but you are supposed, even if you are going there, you are supposed to go there with your coordinator, or with your coordinator being aware that
the activity of the coordinator is key.
You understand? The activity of the coordinator is key. So without the information of the coordinator, but sometimes it's even some of the coordinators don't even know the TEIN executives.
Okay,
you understand? Bad. Sometimes what we normally do is that after your election, you send them an official letter introducing your entire executives to them with their contact numbers. If you have any problem, you contact them. If you see that they are not of help or they can't, they might even tell you that go and contact this. Or maybe if you are moving to someone tell them that, I would like, since you will not be able to find a solution to our problem, I'll propose that let's talk to this person. So let the person be aware, because I don't think anybody in a government or a government appointee would not know the youth organizer or the coordinator. You understand?
I want you to hold on. This problem clearly is not sensitive to the Tamale branch Polytechnic of TEIN. I'm sure that it should be nationwide. But as a women organizer, have you put anything in place to make sure, in future you don't face some of these difficulties? What are you doing new as a newly executive elected women's organizer? Women's commissioner, I keep changing the
like he was saying, Ali, let's assume this former TEIN secretary and now president went through the right channel. Let's assume he did all that. Let's assume he saw the coordinator. He went through every channel to get anybody available for his program, and he didn't get. That is what we are facing right now. They seem to put our problems or our programs on the bottom line. They don't really take it seriously, because I believe that when it comes to campaign, we are the younger ones, we are the youth. We do the hard work. They do hard work. We contact the students. So when it comes to our needs, they should take it with that same importance. But they don't. Every other thing seems to come first before the youth.
You call them and they don't pick.
You call them, they don't pick.
Text message, no reply.
But before campaign, you call them, they pick. So after campaign, they don't pick.
They'll be calling you during campaign.
So like he's saying, I believe from the way he's talking, I believe he went through every channel.
You could feel it.
You could feel it. And I understand what he's saying, because when you call them, they will reschedule your program to their own, but fine. By the end of the day, they might not even show up.
And they will not even send anybody to come and represent them. So the question still remains, so what would TEIN do? What is TEIN doing? Or what is TEIN putting in place to make sure that you put some of these executives, I don't know, whether in check, or you want to remind them that, hey, these programs, this TEIN thing that you are trying to disregard but for election purposes are very sensitive to your victory. What is TEIN doing? Anything new that TEIN is putting in place in terms of the approach?
Okay, in fact, we believe in following the right channel. But sometimes, as my women commissioner said, sometimes you
in a minute,
you take you follow the right channel. Then at the end of it all, the person you are even following will make you feel that she can't do anything, or he or she can't do anything, and that you have to fall on other people. Do you understand? So what I would do is I'm urging all our party members, especially the executives, the regional, the national. You understand? Because if we get recognition from the party hierarchy, you understand, if you move to anybody as a government appointee, the person also take you serious. So what we are appealing to them is that they should know very well, or they should be mindful that the TEIN is an intellectual body of the party. You understand? And we are the youth. We are still energetic, and we can do all the groundworks for them. Theirs is to sit down and give out the directives. So we are pleading to them that they should try as much as possible to just give us some kind of attention when we fall onto them. You understand? They should just give us a listening ear. If my problem cannot be solved, at least you talking to me, somebody also feel something. You understand? So I think
I can assure you that I have just received a text message of somebody highly placed in government who wants to get in touch with the TEIN of UPS, and you take it from there. As to whatever help the person has, he would do well to just make sure he extends that to you. But your concluding was Women's Commissioner. Anything you want to say to TEIN members and those who want to join TEIN, in a minute, so we can wrap up.
Especially the women, TEIN, it's open. This is just a political breeding ground. We are here in school to learn, but politics is part of life. So you should come in, join. Let's support our party.
Okay, thank you very much, gentleman and the lady, for coming. And we'll do well to be serializing such discussion with as many TEIN executives on many other campuses as we can and as time would allow us. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for watching. I will be here, God willing, inshallah, on Tuesday. Till then, just be good and stay blessed. Bye-bye.